जय श्री माताजी। आज के सामूहिक ध्यान सत्र में उपस्थित सभी सहजी भाई बहनों का हार्दिक स्वागत है। ध्यान की शुरुआत कुंडलिनी चढ़ा के बंधन लेते हुए करेंगे। तीन महामंत्र और श्री गणेश मंत्र। श्री माताजी, हमारा आत्म साक्षात्कार दृढ़ कीजिएगा। पूरा चित्त हमारे सहस्त्रार में ही रखेंगे। इसी ध्यान की स्थिति को बरकरार रखते हुए हम अभी श्री माताजी की अमृतवाणी ग्रहण करेंगे।
Today we are celebrating a great event of the resurrection of Christ. On the same pattern is your resurrection. That you have risen to the new life of divine love. You were all in the knowledge that there's something higher has to happen. That you are to be born again. But nobody knew how it works. The subtle side of your being was never told to you. The saints only talked as to how you should behave. They only said how you should try to keep a very pure life, sincere life. But they didn't tell you how it will work out. Of course, people knew in India about it. Very few of them, very, very few of them. But now it's a worldwide knowledge through you people. Now while your Kundalini rises, she is your mother, she is your individual mother, and she gives you the second birth. That's how you get connected to the divine paradise. All this, if it is told without realization, has no meaning. But people are given great ideas about it, and also were promised that one day your resurrection will come. It is the greatest happening for you. Is the greatest event of your life. And one must consider it's very fortunate that you have been able to achieve it. All this because you desired for it. In many of your lives, you have been desiring for the heavenly paradise. People have been going round in the hills and dales, seeking, doing all kinds of things. That's already done by you. You don't have to give up anything. No need to give up anything. This wrong idea, I should say it untimely idea. This is the time when you have to get your Sahaja resurrection, spontaneous resurrection. You don't have to do anything about it. It's just so simple as that. Has worked out so well. I was really very much overjoyed to see that so many people, especially Muslims, about whom I have been so much worried, that how can you save these people? They are so much lost in the mess of wrong thinking. One has to understand that this Quran was written 40 years after the death of Muhammad. So maybe that there might be some words which are just being shifted, maybe, and the meaning might be little bit ambiguous. Also, there was another book called Sunnah came out about the same time and was managed by a person who was not such a great soul, I should say, because he was not a realized soul. I can't understand. How can you religiously understand a poetry, and in the poetry, whatever is written, how can you interpret it correctly? This is the reason why I am a poet also. I could have written a poetry about it, but I said no. Poetry can be twisted And also people can misuse it. That's the problem with the poetry is. In India we had the same problem. For example, Kabira wrote such beautiful poetry, and the way they interpreted was so nonsensical and so much different from the spirit of Kabira's songs. About everything, they can twist the words according to their own need, I found out, if I wrote poetry about divinity. This is exactly what has happened. In all the religions I've seen, when it comes to poetry, people can twist it. Also, like in Bible, it was so much accepted that Paul is the one who is going to organize the publication about Christ. And he didn't want to write also about resurrection. He didn't want to write about the Immaculate Conception. All these things were in his mind, and so Thomas had to run away to India, and John refused to write anything. Because all such people take charge. They become in charge. They think they are responsible for it, while they are not at all capable. They don't have the right to do it. As a result of that, Christianity took a very wrong attitude towards the inner growth of human being. You see the result of that. Today, when you see what's happening with the Catholic Church, you are amazed. How can such an organization be a religious organization where all kinds of nonsensical things are going on? I was also born in a Christian family, and I was shocked the way they interpreted Christ's life and the way he talked about it with great authority. Books and books were written. They give big, big sermons. I thought there's no truth in it what they're talking. Even my father felt the same way. Because all these books came much after the authors of these books. Secondly, those who tried to write it were not authorized to do that. They were not spiritual people. They all wanted to have power. They wanted to have power in religion. The power in religion is inside, and that should be awakened. I must say, thanks to the Sufis of this country and other countries, that people still think that there is something beyond all these words and talks and books. This is something, such a blessing that we have, that in every country we had someone who talked about reality, about the truth. Though they were condemned, they were tortured, and so many of them were killed. This is happening even today. I find that people don't want to listen to reality, to the truth. But I was so happy yesterday, really overjoyed, to see that even the people who were Muslims, who were Islamic, have now coming together, understanding that they have a higher life than these rituals of every day. All these ritualistic life that they have led, the way the way they have worked so hard. They did 40 days starvation, doing for Hajj, doing all kinds of things. But there was no unity among themselves. Even among themselves there was no unity. And some places I was surprised that they were killing each other. How can that be? Because these so-called practices did not make them collective. They were not collective. They were all separate identities, separate sects, guided by absolutely ignorant people. So, we have to really celebrate the unity of these people, the collective nature of these people who were lost to the truth. They had no idea as to what truth is. But still, a seeker can never find consolation with whatever exists. He's seeking. He's seeking and seeking till he finds the truth. But also there are many seekers who lose their way. In seeking they get lost. It's very difficult to convince them that you have lost your way. But they should see from their own lives. They should see from their own attainment. What have they achieved? Have they got any experience? To be convinced of what you have got, you must try to verify it. You can verify on people. You can verify on yourself. Whatever you are, you know on your fingertips, as they say. Now, it's said in the Quran that at the time of your Qiyamah, means resurrection time, there are two things, Qayamat and Qiyamah, two things. Also many people don't understand the difference. One is when the resurrection time comes, and the another is when your destruction comes. For the resurrection of human beings is the Qiyamah, in which is said that your hands should speak, that you should feel the vibrations on your fingertips. I would say those who are really Muslims, who are surrendered, and those who have been selected to be higher people belonging to the God's realm, must have hands that can speak. Otherwise, they are not Muslims. I would not call them Muslims. They may be human beings, but not Muslims. So it's compulsory that for every Muslim, he thinks he is a Muslim, he should have vibrations in his hand. He should feel the vibrations. His hands must speak at the time of resurrection, which is the Qiyamah. Qiyamah, not Qayamat. These two words are confused in the minds of the people. So those people who can verify about their achievements themselves through their vibrations on their hands, and also about others through their fingertips, are the Muslims, according to Quran. But nobody has told them this. They don't know. To them it's all right if you go to Mecca and come back from there, you become a Haji, finished. There's another question one should ask, which is very important, that why Muhammad Sahib was so much against stone worshipping. Clearly, why did he ask people to go round that black square stone? What was the purpose of that? Why was that stone so important? If you ask this question to any so-called Muslim, he'll say that was the order. But you can ask the question, after all, why? That's also just a stone. So why did Muhammad Sahib ask that you should go around that stone? So many statues were there made of stone. And people started worshipping all kinds of statues, as they do in India also. But this stone was a Swambhu. And is mentioned in the Indian scriptures that there is Makkeshwar Shiva. We have Shivas everywhere in India. There are 12 Jyotirlingas. Now if I tell you, you need not believe me, but you can go and verify on your vibrations if it is a Shiva or not. Same with this black stone. So Muhammad Sahib found out that this is a Makkeshwar Shiva, and so the people have to go round to achieve Shiva's blessings. But it became a ritual. The whole thing became like a ritual, and nobody could go further from that ritual. Same thing with the Christianity. When today is the day they are talking so big about repentance and about feeling guilty about what they have done. But why did they do it? They are supposed to be in charge of goodness, of virtues. So why did they do it? Why did they do wrong things? And now asking forgiveness from God. Because they were not realized souls. They were not Sahajogis. If the Sahajogis try to do something wrong, then they know that they are doing wrong on their fingertips, or we can ask them to get out of Sahaja. But that seems to be the worst punishment for Sahajogis. If I tell them to get out of Sahaja, they don't like it. Why? Because they feel we are separated from reality. All the blessings of the reality are lost to them. They think that. The punishment is nothing, because we just ask you get out of Sahaja. To look at it's nothing. But Sahaja Yoga is complete freedom. Sahaja Yoga is complete blessing. Sahaja Yoga is complete peace and joy. Surprisingly, if you read Quran, you will be amazed that Muhammad Sahib wanted to bring peace. But it's not so. I met one man from Kashmir. He said that where is the peace? They are all fighting, we want peace. But surprisingly he said, in India we find there's peace. But this Kashmir is a mad place where everybody is all the time challenged and everything attacked under the name of Islam itself. So I said, it's not Islam. Islam means surrender. And he said, if you surrender, they'll kill you. We have no protection. It's very surprising, very, very surprising how now the Muslims themselves are realizing that this cannot be divine life. This cannot be divine life. Because in divine life, people are just the same with each other. You see, we had Sufis all over the world. I've read them. I've read the Sufis of Turkey and also other places. Even in India we had Sufis, though they don't call themselves Sufis so much. Sufi means, I don't know, whatever you may think it, but according to Indian understanding, Sufi means Saf, and Saf means clean, means pure. Those who are pure people are Sufis. In the purity, they see nothing but divine grace, divine love, divine peace. They talked of peace only. They could not talk of war. Anybody who talks of war cannot be a person who has got any right to do that. War is absolutely like madness. Even animals won't fight like that. We are even worse than animals when we think of war and killing each other. This should not be done, and it has to be stopped completely. Nobody has right to kill anybody unless and until he is attacked. So, what we hear about our resurrection is this, that we are above so many things. We have lost all those destructive qualities. As in Sanskrit they call it, we have 6 enemies. Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsara, Dobha, Moha. Kama means sexual perversion. Krodha means anger. Moha means attraction. Mada means the pride. Matsara means jealousy. All these six things, sixth one is the greed. All these 6 things that we had in our mind, out of our ignorance, out of our upbringing, out of our reading, whatever it is, whatever we had developed, we were having, just drops out. When the Kundalini rises and you become one with the divine, then you are on sound grounds. You realize that you have found the truth, and you no more can enjoy all these destructive habits. They just drop out. So you go into a new realm of divine construction within. This is the real resurrection of human being. Now, you know that certain subtle things still remain despite the fact that people try to destroy the books, to spoil the meaning of things. Despite that, subtle things remain there. For example, we offer eggs during Easter. What's the meaning of offering eggs? Why should we offer an egg? First of all, we offer egg because the egg can go into a transformation. It can become a small chick. It can be born again. It's the egg has a capacity to be born again. So when you get this egg as a symbol of Easter, it means you can become a different person, a reformed person, and a great spiritual person. You can become. It means that. Why do we give eggs? People don't know. I asked so many people. I asked even some priests who think they are great authorities of Christianity. They didn't know why they give eggs. Secondly, if you read the story about the birth of Sri Ganesh, and then you proceed on, you'll be surprised is written down that it was called as Brahmand, means the egg of the Brahma. That came into existence, and half of it became the Mahavishnu, means the Christ, and half of it remained as Sri Ganesh. And then it is said that then when Mahavishnu came out, he started crying for his father. Just think of it. He was asking for his father. Now if you see Christ, he always uses these two fingers. No other incarnation has used these two fingers. This means, this is the Vishuddhi and this is the Nabi. That means he's talking of his father who was Nabi king. Who is that? You know that very well, it's the Vishnu. And his incarnation as Sri Krishna. So what he's indicating is this, that they are my father. How clearly he does that? Why not have some other mudras, other style of holding the fingers? But he holds always these two fingers. Meaning, my father, the one who was Vishnu and who was Shri Krishna. And then in the lives of Sri Krishna, they say Mahavishnu will be your son. All these things are not put together, as I am telling you, separately. But if you have proper understanding, you can understand the connection between the two. That Christ was the son of Shri Vishnu and Shri Krishna. And that was blessed, that you will be the support of the whole universe. The support, the Adhar of the whole universe. He said it clearly. It is said so. That you will be supporting the whole universe. Now the one half is Sri Ganesh, who is the support in a way. It supports the Kundalini. It looks after the Kundalini. It looks after the chastity of the mother. And the another one which is expressed is Jesus Christ, who is the support of the whole universe. So naturally, it has to be the moral basis, as he is a part and parcel of Sri Ganesha. It's the moral basis of human being. On the moral basis only will be supported. Not all other nonsense that they have, but a moral basis, and which is missing in the lives of Christianity. Everything is allowed. Very surprising. You can do whatever you like, as long as you don't take a divorce in the Catholic Church. And also in the other church, which we can call non-Catholic churches, there are many. Even if you are married, you can do whatever you like. Even the Vatican, I was told, has all these problems. How can that be? If you are the people who think you are baptized, I mean, there's a big celebration of baptism by these priests, then where is the Sahasrara? And where is the Kundalini? And how do you have your second birth? There's no second birth. Just some priest puts his hand on your head. Actually, it makes a problem for realized souls to put hand of the priests who are not realized souls. And that creates a problem for children. I've seen many children, they start crying loudly when they are being blessed by these priests, because they are realized souls and the priests are not. It's very interesting. But they say, after all, you see, it's the priests that are bad, but not Christ. But how are they related to each other? Christ stood for morality. And about him also, in these modern times, they are saying all kinds of filthy things. They cannot understand a character which is moral. To this extent, we have gone. Morality is out of question. You do whatever you like, as long as you go to church and confess, you are all right. These are the absurdities of modern religions. Every religion has problems. And the worst I feel when you have the support of the world as your leader. How can you allow people to have such an immoral life? Immorality, how can you tolerate when you follow the example of Christ? Out of question. He is the embodiment of morality. He is Sri Ganesh. And how can you allow people to come to churches, to the temples, and allow them to have immoral life? What is the atonement for such people? The basis of Christ's life, the whole being of Christ, is morality. To establish purity. Now, it was Sri Ganesha who was created first by the Adishakti, because she wanted purity around. She wanted human beings to enjoy their purity and their personality, which was emitting light to others. If there is impurity, say, for example, on a glass, and if you use that glass on top of the light, how can the light pass out? The impure life cannot give light to others and cannot show your inner light also. Both things are absolutely true about impurities. But people say that we have to accept, because if you have to have more people for your religion, you should accept many things. And one of them is impurity. And just think of it. Now at the Agya, where Christ resides, if your eyes are impure, full of lust and greed, then you are against Christ. You are an antichrist. If your eyes are clean and pure, then only you can enjoy love of God. Otherwise you cannot. And also the love of another Sahajogi or Yogini you can only enjoy in completeness if your eyes are clean. Just imagine. But if you have roving eyes and all sorts of things, I don't know. How can you call yourself Christians? You cannot. Whatever certificate you may carry, but you are not. Because those who are following Christ have to have absolutely a moral life. That's a compulsion of the inner being on you, that you enjoy your morality and you enjoy above all your clean eyes. This is what I have come to know about the Western life, that the eyes are not clean. They'll go to the church and their eyes will be moving here and there. How can that be? How can you do that if you think Christ is the one who was resurrected and you are to be resurrected? First of all, see that you have pure love in your eyes. Now, pure love is not relative, cannot be contaminated, cannot have lust and greed in them. These two things have to drop out from your mind completely. These are the days of people having greed, lots of greed there. I just don't know what sort of things they have, because I haven't studied so much the morality of human beings. Whatever I see are beautiful people like you. But when I try to understand the so-called Western culture, I am surprised that even if they want to make a life of someone, like the life of Shakespeare I saw, who was, according to me, was avadhuta, means a person who has gone beyond all human destructive habits. Avadhut is a very high quality yogi. And they show him as a stupid man running after a woman. They cannot conceive of human beings who could be morally perfect, who will have moral sense. They cannot conceive. Because those who do this kind of thing are not realized so. They are not Sahajogis. So the conception about morality doesn't come into their head. They think as we are, like that the others are. Actually, mostly they do it to justify themselves. So ugly and so horrifying is the depiction of the character of such great people who talk such great things, shows that human beings are really degraded in their value system. They cannot conceive of somebody who is an ideal personality. They think by saying so, they are talking of something beyond reality. They don't know reality. Yesterday's Sufi thing, I was very impressed when they said about the 4 stages that you are. And out of that, the hakikat means the reality. You have to get into the reality. Reality is what? It's not a perception. It's not seeing something, but it's being something. If you start seeing, you might see something white, red, yellow, but you are not that. When you are the reality, then you emit reality. You see reality. You enjoy reality. You live in reality. This is real life. And you don't indulge into something which is unreal, imaginary, or below dignity. No, you don't do. You are the reality. It's the hakikat. As they say, you are the reality and you are emitting reality in your behavior, in your talks, in your lives, in everywhere. All this brings forth the greatest force of spirituality. Whatever is falsehood, whatever is wrong, whatever is destructive, will run away from a man who stands in reality. It is automatic. It is absolutely part and parcel of the same personality who is supposed to be a realized soul. So, your resurrection has taken place, no doubt. All right. Your hands are speaking, all right. I don't want to give you any command or any kind of a fixed road that you have to follow. Now you are free because you have the light. When you have the light, why should I tell you which way to go? You know yourself that you have the light, so you follow yourself. In a way, that is an enlightened path with your own light. Somebody has to tell you that don't do this, don't do nothing of that. You what? Just do it. As something wrong you will not do. If you are doing it, then know that you have to still rise above all this. You are the Nabis that are described in the Quran. You are the ones who are going to resurrect the whole. You are the ones who are going to help the downtrodden people into the filth of immorality. Your lives should show. Look at these few of these people who were Sufis, who were very clean people. How have they been able to channelize the other people into a better life? That is what you are. You have to channelize their lives. That's your job. Don't think about what is happening, how the people are stupid, immoral. Forget it. What you have to know, what you are. You have to be aware of yourself and of your responsibility as being the purest of pure. As my name indicates, you are my children. And that indicates the children of Nirmal, means purity. Purity is the basis of your existence. You should try to see where you got impure. In which part? There's no mistake in appreciating the art, appreciating all that is beautiful, appreciating all that is created out of beautiful minds. But there should be no lust and greed in that appreciation. Pure appreciation, purity is the message. And once you have the purity within yourself, you will love yourself. As I love you, you will love you also. And then you will understand this word love, which comes out of the purity, the blossoming of your purity, the fragrance of your purity, you enjoy all the time, and the love that you have flows towards all those who are to be loved, who have to be looked after. Don't worry about the people who are destructive. And that's the only word I can use, because there are so many things one can say about. Let them be destructive because they are destroying themselves. Why should we worry about them? They think they are destroying others, but they are not. They are destroying themselves, so forget about it. Just forget you think yourself to be responsible for the construction of the whole world. It's not only few people. You are very intelligent, knowledgeable, and understanding. You are not like the disciples of Christ who were not educated, who didn't understand so much, and who did get realization, but were not of your level. Whatever they could do reached to a point where this kind of a mess of a Christianity has come. But you can't create that kind. You will create a new, vibrant religion which is global. I was very happy to see that now we have people from all over the world. It's a global movement all over. It has nothing to do with the limited ideas of so-called religions. They have ruined every religion. Islam is ruined, Christianity ruined, and Hinduism ruined, and Buddhism the worst. In Buddhism you give up everything. All your belongings, all your properties, give to the Guru. Imagine. And the Guru is so greedy, horrible fellow. How can he give resurrection? Himself is a greedy fellow, misleading others, just taking away everything. The same thing about Christianity, that you all become nuns, you become fathers, you become brothers, and I don't know, all nonsense. But there's no change within. Somebody came to me and I said, why did you become a priest? He said, because I was jobless. I had no job. Baba. So I took up the job of a priest. And imagine. He could not fit into any job, so the minimum of minimum he took is the priest job. Then what did you do? They told me what I have to preach. And first I had to practice and remember it by heart. And then I don't know. I started talking this, talking that. I said, he must be a big possessed man. He had no mind of his own. He didn't know what he was talking. He would take out one sentence from Bible and go on talking, boring everybody. And I was surprised that within 15 minutes, people wanted to get out of the church. As soon as the sermon was over, they would run out and breathe. Thank God. Is that what religion gives you? Is that what should happen to you? No, it's not that. What happens to you that you enjoy yourself, you enjoy the collectivity, you enjoy the goodness, the morality, the whole thing is like the nectar of life. So, that changes the whole picture. The ritualism is so much. In the Hindu religion, there's too much of ritualism. You sit on the right or you sit on the left, you do this at this time. I mean, lots of it. That when your sister dies, how many days you should starve yourself. If your husband dies, then how many days? Dies is died, finished. The body is finished now. So you fast for so many days. It's very wrong, because you are fasting, the bhoot might come into you. But still, what I would say, all these ritualisms and all that are created by human beings who were claiming to be something great. They are not. By no means they are the people in charge of morality, in charge of higher life. They lead such a mundane, useless life. I went to a temple of Shri Ganesha, which is supposed to be Swayambhu. One of the 8 temples, it is one of them. And I was surprised. The man who was worshipping, was supposed to be the priest, he was suffering from paralysis. And his brother died of paralysis. Now his son was also paralyzed. He said, "What is this Ganesha doing to us, mother?" I said, "What are you doing to Ganesha? How much money you earn out of it?" He said, "Quite a lot." And then what do you do with this money? Do you do anything for the society? Do you try to improve their lives? Have you any attention on the society? Or you are just looking after yourself? As a result, he's got paralysis. His brother got paralysis, his son got paralysis. And he was blaming Ganesha for that. He said, "Is it a real Ganesha?" "Yes, it is. But you are not. You don't deserve." I told him off on his way. He said, "All right, you may say whatever you like, but you cure me." I said, "First promise that whatever money you get out of this temple, you will spend it for the betterment of people." But how can they? They are not realized. Such a lot of priests I see walking about with all these funny dresses and what? These are like dead bodies walking around with all kinds of bad vibrations. So I can't understand. And the other people are very simple. They say, "Oh my goodness, see now he's a priest, so they must respect." But they don't see, they do not ascertain what is the spiritual value of that person who calls himself as the priest. That is your job. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to denounce them. You don't have to describe them. No need. But understand that you are different. You have the right. You are the authority. And so, with that authority and confidence, you have to go about and save people. You are realized souls. You got your resurrection. You are yogis, I agree. But what is your job? Why? Why this has happened? Why this light has come into you is to take the blind in your hands and take them towards the light. This is what is your resurrection for. It's not only for your seeking, but also is the grace of the divine for you to make the whole world divine as far as possible. How many people have you given realization? How many people you have talked to them? I tell you, I was surprised. Once I was traveling by plane and there was some lady traveling with me, and she started talking to me about her cult, about her nonsense. And I said, look at it. Shamelessly she was talking. Listening to her, I said, Sahajogis won't. They won't talk about Sahaja. Every person who is a Sahajogi has to talk about Sahaja. May not be with the wrong type, but with the right type of people. That's a thing you have to do. That's why you are enlightened. You are not enlightened to be put somewhere in the forest or to be lost to the whole world. You are enlightened, you are resurrected to enlighten other people. That's what you are there for. And you can do it. Many have done it. So many of you have done it. And I would say that all of you, whether you are a man or a woman, you have to do it. And that's the request of your mother, that make use of your realization. And the attention should be only on realization. How many people you are going to give realization to? How many people you are going to save? It's a very simple job for you. You have to just raise the Kundalini. You can. You should see how just with your hand you can raise the Kundalini of others and give them their resurrection. You don't have to do anything. The life is not that difficult for you. Your job is the easiest thing. It's just to raise your hand. In your hand you have the power. Just to raise your hand and give them realization. Instead of feeling diffident. So that's why I would say you are all resurrected. You are all realized souls. And you have to create the divine paradise.
अब हम निःशब्द ध्यान में रहते हैं। दोनों हाथ जोड़ के श्री माताजी के प्रति आभार व्यक्त करते हैं और प्रार्थनाएं अर्पित करते हैं। परम पूज्य श्री माताजी, आज का सामूहिक ध्यान हम आपके श्री चरणों में समर्पित करते हैं। आज के ध्यान में आपने हमें निरानंद प्रदान कर हमें चैतन्य से आशीर्वादित किया, इसलिए हम आपके हृदय से ऋणी हैं। संपूर्ण विश्व में विश्व निर्मल धर्म प्रस्थापित करने हेतु कृपा कर हमें सहयोग प्रचार प्रसार का शुद्ध एवं प्रभावी माध्यम बनाइएगा माँ। हमारी सभी प्रार्थनाओं का स्वीकार कर हमें आशीर्वादित करने की कृपा करना माँ। जय श्री माता जी। सामूहिक बंधन लेते हैं। आज का ध्यान केंद्र संपन्न होता है। जय श्री माता जी।